I'd like to direct a question to the junior senator from Oregon through the chair. Madam President, I thank my colleagues, both my colleagues from Oregon. I especially thank my colleague, Senator Merkley, who contacted me last weekend when the situation was unfolding in Portland and talked to me about his reaction to it and what he was hearing from the people of the state that he represents. And of course, there was a genuine concern in the city of Chicago, which I'm honored to represent, because this president and the White House have been taking swipes at that city for years now. And we fully anticipated that the atrocity that was occurring in Portland could occur in Chicago as well. And I just want to say to the senator from Oregon, thank you for your leadership on this. Thank you for bringing this issue to the fore and to the floor of the United States Senate. This is an issue we should be voting on. We should have voted on it this week. There was no excuse for it. We've risen to the occasion before when an historic occurrence brings it to our attention that the Senate should speak and express itself. We should have done it this week on the issue that you brought, and I hope that we can resort to this issue quickly, if not today, as quickly as possible afterwards. I am a co-sponsor of the legislation which the senator is offering. And it's basic. It is fundamental. As I recall, and I'll ask the senator from Oregon, what you're asking for is if the federal government is going to send out the so-called law enforcement protective forces and such that they identify themselves, that they not come into a community anonymously without any indication of who they are. I'm reminded of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, eastern portions of Ukraine, the Donetsk region. And the Russians, Vladimir Putin was very careful that his invaders did not wear Russian uniforms. They were known as little green men. We have a comparable situation here where the federal forces are not identifying the agencies they represent, but coming to the streets of Portland in camouflage. The senator from Oregon, I'd like you to please, if you would, respond. Has this not been the case? Has this been documented?
To my colleague from Illinois, that is exactly right. As seen in this picture and the testimony of all those who are present, Mark Morgan, the Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, said that's not the case. And he said, our personnel are clearly marked as federal law enforcement officers and have unique identifiers. They were not. They are operating, as you say, like little green men, secret police.
I'd like to ask another question through the chair to the senator from Oregon. Is it not also true that many of these agencies, these federal agencies, have defined responsibilities, defined areas of jurisdiction? For example, in the city of Chicago, as probably is the case in Portland, Oregon, there is a federal protective service that has a specific building and facility and personnel in that facility that they're responsible for. Is that not the case in Oregon?
That is the case.
And in this situation, have these federal agents of some different agency or whatever extended their reach of jurisdiction beyond that federal protected facility?
They have.
How far?
Well, they've been present in streets. I don't know just how many blocks from the federal building, but certainly not just on the perimeter of the federal property. They have swept through streets, they have vans that have gone through the streets, they have grabbed protesters and thrown them into the vans, so they have departed significantly from, if you will, the mission of defending the federal building.
Directing another question to the senator through the chair, what has been the coordination of this federal activity with local and state law enforcement in Portland, Oregon?
Madam President, if I can request unanimous consent that our dialogue be credited to my colleagues 1 hour, because I'm afraid my minutes are run out. Unanimous consent, please.
Is there objection? Without objection.
Thank you. You asked about coordination. My understanding is that there was not an invitation from the mayor to come, that there was not a conversation with the governor. There certainly was no conversation with Senator Wyden or myself or the other members of the delegation. The Portland police have indicated that they have not worked in cooperation with these federal forces. they may have been engaged in what they call deconfliction, and I don't know the full extent of that.
Well, I don't know if I'm on my own time at this moment or I am. Fine. So I'll still continue without objection the colloquy between myself and the junior senator from Oregon. Let me say to the senator, we were concerned at the beginning of this week because of your experience with what might happen in the city of Chicago. Senator Duckworth and I sent a letter to the President of the United States expressing that concern. I'd like to ask unanimous consent that the letter be entered into the record along with the press release describing its contents.
Without objection.
Thank you very much. I also would like to say to the senator from Oregon that the Department of Justice made an announcement yesterday that they were in fact sending, I assume, a number of federal agents, 150, into Chicago in pursuit of an operation known as Operation Legend. This is an operation which began July 8th, 2020 by the federal government starting in Kansas City because of the death of a young man, a 4-year-old, Legend Taliaferro, shot and killed in the early morning hours in Kansas City on June 29th. I received a phone call this morning from the U.S. Attorney John Losh of the Northern District of Illinois, a man whom I was instrumental in selecting and supporting and still do support to this day, his professional activities, who gave me his personal assurance that what happened in Oregon was not going to happen in Chicago, that this Operation Legend, as he described it to me, was a coordination with state and local law enforcement in the city of Chicago and state of Illinois to make certain that their activities were coordinated and known in advance and that they were focusing on gun violence and drug trafficking in the city of Chicago. I've also been alerted by Mayor Lori Lightfoot that she has received the same assurances and briefing, as well as the governor, J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. So our circumstances are different than the ones that Portland faced. And I will tell you that we are going to hold Mr. Losh, as well as the Department of Justice and all others, to their word that we will not see in Chicago anything like what we witnessed in the streets of Portland, Oregon. And I just want to say in closing to the senator from Oregon, thank you for bringing this to our attention, because when we were alerted, the governor, the mayor of Chicago, Senator Duckworth and I both jumped on this immediately, contacting the Trump administration for clarity about what was going to happen in Chicago. We have been given these assurances. There was a lengthy press release. I ask unanimous consent that it be entered into the record at this point.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. A lengthy press release which describes the activities that are going to take place, again, with the knowledge and coordination of local law enforcement. What happened in Portland, Oregon is unacceptable in the United States of America. We have heard the historical analogies from the senior senator from Oregon, where authoritarian central governments move into an area and take control. We have seen the historic parallel in the eastern reaches of Ukraine and in Crimea. We know what it looks like because history has shown us. We don't want this occurring in the United States of America. I am sorry for those who were injured and bear the scars of this federal incursion into the city of Portland, Oregon. I stand with the junior senator from Oregon. We will call and we will pass, I hope, on a bipartisan basis, the reassertion of the basic principles of this country when it comes to the separation of powers and when it comes to the dignity which we ask in the streets of America under our Constitution. I thank the junior senator from Oregon. I yield the floor.